Hello and welcome to Squire time. My name is Caden.
I'm John.
And I am Hanson.
And today we're gonna...
Talk about a hoax.
Yeah, talk about a hoax. Wait, what?
You mean the truth.
We're gonna dig into something a little deep.
I got you real good, didn't
That was good. Wait, what? Whether ghosts exist or not, and our individual stories. Ghost stories. Who wants to kick it off with a story or a point of view? Okay.
Ghosts aren't real.
All right. Well,
Now,
that's a wrap.
into this episode.
Okay, just the term ghost will go around. You believe they're not real.
I believe they're not real.
If someone says, are ghosts real? Blanket statement.
That's so hard.
Do you say yes or no?
Nope.
You can only say yes or no. You hear the term question, are ghosts real?
I would have to say yes.
Okay, same here. Now let's get into the definition. John, how do you define a ghost? Being someone who doesn't believe in them, how do you define a ghost?
First, fiction. Second, second, I would say most people have this idea that a ghost is this spirit left behind by someone that has passed, and that it is trying to, talk to them in some form or fashion or communicate with them. Most people think a ghost has their own agenda to accomplish, and that in and of itself is kind of goes against the rudimentary foundation of a ghost being a spirit. Spirits don't have feelings. It's just a spirit. Spirit. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Okay, so like I said, Caden, how would you define a ghost?
See, it's hard to get in that without diving into my religion.
Exactly.
Because
there is one ghost.
You
the holy ghost.
The holy
one.
The
holy ghost.
Because you bring up an interesting point. You say you don't think spirits, because spirits, they're just this like nebulous thing. They wouldn't have a consciousness. See, I believe the other thing, or the opposite of that. I believe that ghosts are people who have passed away, and I guess. To put it this way, it's their consciousness that is lingering. And
that doesn't make any sense to me.
I mean, okay, how about this? So...
What is a consciousness for?
Expound on that.
Biologically.
Biologically, what is consciousness for?
Yeah, what's it for? What's the purpose of a conscience?
A conscience. What is the purpose? Well, see, that's also really... That is a question that... has been unanswered for years. Like, how can we define consciousness? And
it is essentially your programming as to what your decisions will be. Consciousness.
Okay, you could make that argument.
Consciousness or subconscious. It's your thoughts.
Right, chemical reactions in your brain.
Exactly.
Do you believe that consciousness is in any way tied to your soul?
Mm-hmm.
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, in the sense that it's going to get, if you believe in Christianity, yes, in the sense that it's going to get your soul to a position where you might one day enter heaven, if you so choose to follow that path.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you believe our soul and consciousness work
Judgment Day
independently
is based on the actions you make in this life.
Okay.
So do you feel the soul and consciousness are two completely different things, but the consciousness's decisions...
The conscience is a taxi
for the soul.
Yes.
Okay.
So what do you think? So you believe in God and in heaven?
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask, just so that we can get on the same page of what each other believe in. What do you believe heaven would be like? So if consciousness is nothing, it's nebulous, then what's the point of going to heaven? I'm just asking this from a genuine perspective. Why would I want to go to heaven if I am nothing? What to play?
It's a pretty good alternative to eternal damnation, I think.
Yeah, but then, but do you see my point? Is what's the difference between eternal damnation and heaven if you are nothing? If you're not conscious,
you're not nothing. You're a soul. You're a spirit.
Yeah, but
that
you're not
soul
conscious.
have a thought process.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say a thought process per se. Okay. Yes, but not in the same sense of the thought process we have here. It would be a different manner of existence, and therefore the laws of thought and everything will not function the same way.
Yeah. See, I
it's kind of it's transcendence.
Do you believe that angels can come to Earth and make change in the
according to the
realm?
Bible, yes, they already have. And so, if
Can
historians have learned anything, it's that history always repeats itself.
Can you see an angel? About to make you believe in ghosts.
An angel is not a ghost.
I mean,
okay, cool. That's something I was going to get into.
Let's pause right there. Okay, so an angel is not a ghost.
According to pop culture, no, it is not.
Oh.
Now, that's interesting. Now, if I had to make a difference, I don't believe in Ghostbusters, Casper the Friendly Ghost. Ghost.
All right.
But I do believe at the biggest picture, I do believe in angels and demons can come to Earth.
Yeah,
and
those are real. I will not argue with you at all that demons exist. I will argue with what pop culture's rendition of a demon is, but I will not argue that they exist.
Now, do you feel that our soul can act in the same way an angel can?
No.
Okay.
We aren't given the same domain of power that an angel is given.
How do you get that?
The angels are angels. They always have been angels, and they will be the only angels. So like
that's interesting.
Whenever the whole Judgment Day thing coming, and you've got essentially, if I get this wrong, please correct me, but it's you go to heaven, and then one day everyone that goes into heaven will become a part of God's army to defeat evil. Okay, that does not mean that you're going to become an angel. Right. It just means you're going to be a soldier in God's army. Okay. So you've got. Well, angels are like SEAL Team 6.
There are.
I run along the same logic, but Caden, you had a bit of hesitation. Do you think differently?
I was just going to bring up. I mean, I really hate to dive into religion because this is supposed to be a fun thing, but I got to bring up.
Really run into that hole.
I got to bring up Adam. Adam is his angelic name was like Archangel Michael,
as in Adam and Eve.
Adam and Eve, okay. His name.
I'm sorry, I'm not.
Yeah, so he was. Yeah, his angelic name was Michael.
What is that based from?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's in the Bible. Michael. Yeah, Michael is his angelic name.
Because the saint for like law enforcement is Michael.
Saint Michael.
Yeah. Saint Michael.
Okay.
So I haven't heard where they're the same.
Saint Michael is not Michael.
Maybe. Okay, so here's the other thing.
Okay, stop. Okay, pause. Are you using angelic name interchangeably with Christian name, or are you? What is the difference?
What do you mean? Oh, well, like say Jehovah and Jesus.
Like my name is John. That is a biblical name. It's a Christian name. Okay. Are you saying the same thing with Michael, and you're trying to say it's a Christian name, or are you trying to say that Adam is an angel?
That Adam was once an angel named Michael. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But that kind of goes against the fact that Adam was made from the dirt.
Yeah,
right. What I'm saying is that he was a soul, and he lived. Okay, so see, this is where I believe in certain books, religious text other than the Bible. I also believe in the Bible.
Yeah,
but I believe that these books that I've read have built my knowledge, and so. What I understand is we were all souls, every single one of us, before this life, and Adam was one of the most valiant, and that's why he was chosen and volunteered to come to Earth and be the first man.
Okay.
And so he was one of the
the soul existed. God just fashioned a body from dirt.
Yeah, exactly. Gotcha. Yeah, it's like made from the dust.
Okay. See, I always saw it was when God breathed into him, that was him putting a small piece of himself into that. That's how I've always felt. You know, they say we have a connection with God. I've always felt that breath was a connection with God.
Yeah, we were all sons and daughters of God before this life.
Agreed.
Yeah, and
so are you trying to make the argument that we were angels?
We weren't angels. Well, I guess the definition is teeter-tottery because there's angels of the devil. the devil could be considered an angel, meaning that he's
a fallen angel.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And then followers of a fallen angel are, as far as I'm concerned,
demons. That's how I've always seen it.
Yeah, not angels. They just take the phrase or the name demon.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, and from what I see is they don't, become gargoyles and stuff. They're still human beings. Oh, yeah. Or not human beings, but souls.
Yes.
Who just have horrible, horrible intentions.
Because I think that's what John meant by the pop culture definition of demon.
Yeah. Everyone watches Paranormal Activity.
It's not that.
Yeah, okay. It's not that. That's not a demon.
Yeah.
Demon
but the goal is almost the same.
Demon doesn't give a hell about coming and dragging you out of your bed,
right,
and possessing your body and making you. No.
Right.
Now, I do honestly believe that people can become possessed.
Yes, but there will always be a greater purpose if that happens. It won't be just a screw with one family.
Well, and one has to do horrible things in order to become possessed. God will protect you. Now, if you forsake God, then that's when you can become possessed. That's why dark arts can be really scary. It's because you have to do terrible things in order to tap into that. But anyways,
man, we jumped in a rabbit hole.
Yeah, we
did.
Was
quick.
Magic is real. No, I'm kidding.
Fireball.
But see, this is where it's really tricky with talking about ghosts and stuff. We haven't even gotten to a single story yet, and we're almost 15 minutes in.
Yeah. So here's what I'm saying. Here's on a fundamental level, I think the ghost thing, not real.
Okay.
Casper the Friendly Ghost, not real. I agree.
Not real.
Yeah. Okay.
100% agree.
Yeah. And if that's what a ghost is, then I don't believe in ghosts.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I believe in spirits.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so I think we're actually all on
we're a
the
lot
same
closer
page.
than we. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but when you
spirits.
here's this could be wrong. I don't know what stories you're going to tell.
Yeah.
I don't know what stories you're going to tell. This could be wrong, but what I'm thinking is that when people tell a ghost story,
it's like they see someone.
They see something or they encounter something and it gives them the heebie-jeebies and they're scared.
Yeah.
Why would you be scared of an inherently good spirit?
Right. Yeah. No, that's a good point. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there are evil spirits out there.
Yeah, but therefore, if a ghost is an evil spirit or a good spirit, how do you tell the difference? Does any supernatural is what I'm just going to use it as a catch-all because that would be a supernatural encounter, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You agree, Hanson?
Yes.
Okay. If you encounter something supernatural, consciousness tells you that's not normal. Stay away from that so you can survive.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, tell me some ghost stories that could be bad or good. Do you have any good ones?
Well, mine was.
I mean, yeah.
I don't know. See, it's really hard to get into it.
We'll see what happens.
Okay, well, let me go with kind of a scary, funny one.
I have multiple. Let me roll through my Rolodex.
So, if anyone has suffered from sleep paralysis, you'll be able to relate.
Sure.
I was taking a nap.
How all good ghost stories start.
Yeah, my roommate was in the other room, and I woke up on my side, staring at the wall next to my bed, and I could tell someone was standing behind me, and I heard them ask, "Is it 18 or 19?" And I kept thinking, "What? I don't know what you're." I couldn't talk. I couldn't move. Okay, I was laying in bed. I couldn't move. I couldn't talk. But in my mind, I was like, I have no idea what you're asking. And then I heard again, a little bit more stern, is it 18 or 19? I'm like, I don't know what you're asking me. And then it yelled at me, screamed, is it 18 or 19? And I was like, I don't know, 19, I guess. and then God, I snapped out of it and flung over, and nothing was there. Nothing was there at all.
You sure you weren't dreaming?
I was staring at the wall. I was looking at the wall, and I was trying to move. And I was sleep paralyzed.
And there was no break between that experience and waking up.
It wasn't it was you break out of your paralysis. Right. It's really hard to explain.
I mean, I have had sleep paralysis, but I've never had something that doesn't exist. Talk to me.
Right, yeah. No, exactly.
Crazy.
Why do you think it is such a traumatic experience? I was like, this is ridiculous. I had never had an experience like that before in my life. Yeah. And so, I told my friend about it, and he's like, That's funny because I can never remember if my birthday is on the 18th or 19th.
It was you.
Yeah.
He's behind you yelling, is it 18 or 19?
This guy's a pothead though, so.
That makes sense.
All right, Hanson, tell me a ghost story.
I was 18 at the time. I was living at my parents' house. And my little sister at the time, I think she was around 5 years old. I was sitting in my room playing video games, and she came into my room. She'd come in my room every now and again. Wasn't a big deal. She'd come in, she kind of blah, 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 and then run out. And she came into my room. She looked in the corner, like back behind me, and she said, "How old are you? 16? Okay." And she walked out. And I was like, we ain't ending with that. So I went into her room, followed after. I was like, "Lexi, who are you talking to?" She's like, "My sister." And I was like, "That's weird." Anyway, and I moved on.
I think I've heard this.
Now, what was weird to me is I was like, actually, I'll get into that after the rest of the story. I told my dad later, I was like, "You don't believe what Lexi did? Like, she came in my room and asked, 'How old are you?' And she said it was her sister, and she was 16. And my dad was like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah. Why is that weird?" And apparently, my mother had a miscarriage 2 years after I was born.
Whoa!
Which at the time, had she made it, would have been 16.
Whoa!
Now, what's weird to me is, like, when a little kid has a imaginary friend. Like, the imaginary friend's usually that kid's age.
Right.
What kid has an imaginary friend that's like 16?
Right.
Like, that's not right.
Huh.
And you saying that, like, it would make you scared, I wasn't really scared of it. Like,
Yes, you were.
I mean, it was weird. Like, I went in my room and I was like, "Okay, hey, are you in my room?"
Right.
But it wasn't like a fear per se.
Right.
And that does tie into the more of a spirit than it does a ghost, like Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Right.
So that was my one and only experience.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Is that not every ghost story is this like heebie-jeebie, scary thing that everyone assumes it's going to be like mine. Yeah. Like mine was. Nothing was going to hurt me, but it kind of felt like it was. Oh yeah. Like that kind of stuff. Just taking you by your word, it can't be explained.
No, not at all. And I mean, maybe she's just full of it. I have no idea.
Kind of weird that she would. It's kind of weird she would guess that age, though.
Yeah. I mean, Lexi was 4. We don't sit our 4-year-old down and be like, "Mommy had a miscarriage." Like I didn't even know about that, and I was 18 years old. My mom had kept that quiet in the family, apparently. And oh man, heebie-jeebie, I guess, like John said.
So, if I can give you another glimpse into the point of view that I have, so I believe that after you die, your soul or your spirit and your body, are separated. Your body buried in the ground or burnt to a crisp. I don't care. And your spirit, it still exists, and you're still conscious. You're still who you are. And you don't all of a sudden die, and all of a sudden you're like, I'm in heaven. I know exactly everything about God and everything. No, you come into the spirit world exactly how you left the physical world, with the same knowledge. That's why it's so important in this world to gain as much knowledge as you can. But anyways, another really strong point is that the spirit world is not some other place. The spirit world is here on this world. When spirits, when people die, their spirits stay here on this world. In this world, man, I'm getting deep.
What is heaven then? Where do you go for that?
Where's that door?
Did I miss the bus to orientation?
God will make this world heaven.
Is that where you get from the Lord's Prayer on earth as it is in heaven?
Yeah, I think that goes really parallel. Yeah.
When I hear
that insinuates that there is a difference.
When I hear that, I think, that means there's two places, because it'd be like saying in my bedroom as it is in my living room.
Right. That's the other thing is God has created numberless worlds, right? And so
like dimensions or just planets?
I don't know, honestly. I personally believe he's a higher dimensional creature,
right?
Or he's at least become so intelligent that he's able to interact with higher dimensions. But anyways, that's another rabbit hole.
He hacked the system.
Yeah, he hacked the system, and he changed what he saw. So, yeah. So the another point is that angels from, souls from this world only minister to this world, and so angels that minister here are only from people of this world and not other worlds. This is getting incredibly deep, and I'm really hesitant in, talking about this because it's so important to understand the fundamentals before you start picking cherries, right? Yeah. Because that doesn't make a lot of sense. But if you understand a lot of the fundamentals of what I believe in, then it starts to add up. Like, I know that sounds crazy, but
no, you and me, we both come from very different, I guess you'd call them denominations. You come from a Mormon background, and I come from more of a Southern Baptist.
The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
yeah, not Mormon, Mormon. I called you that for years.
But on that note, we are actually incredibly similar.
The amount of I remember when I first met you. From what I had heard of Mormons was a lot of wives.
Yeah.
And some wacky beliefs. But then I started talking to you, and I was like, I guess I can understand that. And I think there's times you've talked to me and heard stuff I've said, and you're like, I guess I could understand that.
Exactly.
So it's amazing the amount of... And that's when it gets to... It's easy to get bogged down.
Yeah.
The details of
the nitty-gritty details. Exactly. Because let's get down to the core. Yeah. Okay? Christ is the Son of God. It is by Him and through Him and of Him that we can be saved. No other way.
Absolutely.
Right? Exactly. Yeah. And the Bible is a sacred text that God gave us so that we can, better learn of Christ and follow Him.
And there are several theologians who are atheists at their core and purely research theology and the historical facts of the Bible out of pursuit of knowledge.
Yeah.
And those people know way more than I ever will. But they're still going to get before God one day, and He's going to say, I never knew you.
Yeah.
So that's why I feel it's easy to get too bogged down into that and lose the truth.
Yeah.
And I'm a Christian. I've made it a point to essentially not go to church anymore because I feel like most of the knowledge that someone's going to spit at me, like with the spittle, I can find out on my own.
Yeah. And I can respect that.
I can perfectly see other people's points of view, and they're helpful to some extent. But I'm not a fan of going to a church and having someone tell me this is the way it is.
Right.
Now
I completely agree with that.
And I have had far more spiritual revelations when it's either me by myself or me and God talking, or me and one or two other people talking.
Yeah.
But I guess the reason I do enjoy going to church, because they could be lying through their teeth and I have no idea, but it's nice to be around other people who share that same... It's like the church family.
Yeah.
The Southern Baptist faith, we kind of call it the church family. Being around that church family, I feel is good for you. Because then when you fall, you see other people who are staying strong in their season of faith, and it helps you get through harder seasons.
Yeah. And at the very least, I think you hit on a really good point. Having that community... At least for me,
absolutely,
having that sort of community, like when I got sick, or if my mom got sick, like when she hurt her knee and couldn't walk, people, Mormons, members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, they bring all sorts of
acronym for that.
Yeah, no, I'm proud of that name, but but that's another story. But I never fear that. Of anything really. If even this coronavirus thing going on, if really crap hit the fan and let's say they shut down all electricity nationwide, now they're not going to do that, so don't freak out, people. Come on.
But if they do, God protects us.
But if they do, I have this huge community of people with food storage.
Jesus. I really miss that. Because, I never lived through it, but, the Amish people, they have such a tight community. Yeah. If your roof caves in, the whole community comes in and fixes your roof for you. And no one expects anything in return. It's just getting together and helping your fellow man.
Exactly.
And that mindset is lost in the wind.
Oh, yeah.
Today, just everyone's out for themselves.
Oh, yeah. Huge.
And it's sad, but...
Yeah.
But us three Jesus boys. We don't have to be like them.
Yeah.
That's true. That's very true.
Let's start our own church.
Do it. Call it Jesus Boys.
Jesus Christ Church of Latter-day Saints
No
and
girls
Baptist boys.
Yeah, boys.
To get us all in.
Then the motto is no girls allowed.
Can we just call it generic Christian church?
Generic Christian church. Yeah. Like, what are those, like, super
QCC.
hype, church
Elevation.
names? Yeah, like
Non-denominational church.
Yeah, the ones that are like Railroad to Heaven Church and stuff
Now,
like that.
now, the church I do go to now, they are considered non-denominational. And I remember when I first heard about a non-denominational church, I was actually working at Bilo, and a guy was buying like a ton of soda and like different like snacks and stuff. And I was like, "What you buying all that for?" And he said, "Oh, it's our church." And we started talking, and I was like, "Well, I've heard that phrase before. What does that mean?" And he said, "Well, pretty much what we boil it down to is if the Bible says it, then that's what it is. The Bible does
it's
not."
kind of dangerous though.
Well, I
It's
mean,
all about figurative speech. You know?
well, I mean, the Bible does. Why does the Bible, the perfect Word of God, why does that need man's interpretation?
Well, if it's given to me, I mean,
But why?
I mean,
does
you
it
have to
need-
interpret it. You know what I mean?
I mean, I agree to some extent, but I kind of agree with the fact of, if it's the perfect Word of God, then who am I to say, oh, well, he actually meant this?
I
Or he
think
actually
You have
meant
to try
that.
and understand it, because like if you say if you don't do that, then you're gonna say, okay, well, like God turned all this bread and all these like this one piece of bread and this one fish into like a crap ton.
Did that not happen?
Did it?
I believe it did.
Cool.
100%.
Other people are gonna argue with you, and you're gonna be like, well, maybe he meant this. Maybe this is actually what happened.
Agreed. And there
It's
is...
different language from a different time. It could
Absolutely.
very well have gone the other way, but
Oh, yeah.
context clues and everything
Yeah.
else. You have that using context clues
And-
is interpreting.
And one instance I agree with you is he says at one point, if someone if like a neighbor angers you, then throw coal on their head. Now, what some people interpret that to mean now is, oh, well, that means you should get ticked off at them and burn them. Well, no, what it actually is back then is if someone came to your house, you would give them coal and they would carry it in a pile on their head back to their home so they could light their fire.
right.
So that's a point where you would need interpretation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and they're not saying don't do any
That's
interpretation.
figurative. It's figurative
Right.
speech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, and I guess they mean it more so in big topics like rapture and things like that.
Yeah, it's like world's gonna end. You're like, neat.
Flip the page.
That's a good book.
You brought up a really interesting point though that so just correct me if I'm wrong. You're saying or you said that if the Bible's the perfect Word of God, then why do we need anyone to interpret it? So,
Yes.
like, why do you need, like, a pastor to stand up and say,
Yes,
the
and
Scripture
say,
says
this is what we get from it.
Yeah.
This is why it should be this.
I love that. Yeah, because your relationship with God is so incredibly personal, and the only person that you should believe 100% is God, right? Another point I wanted to make is, I think, unfortunately, it's very sad, but like sacred text of today has been made imperfect by man.
Yep.
Agreed.
Yeah, and so I don't think we need to. Oh man, I'm losing my train of thought. Son of a gun.
You know
Let
why?
me.
You know why you're losing?
Huh?
Ghosts aren't real.
Because ghosts aren't real. Nah, we figured it out.
We just went full circle.
No, what I was gonna say is that basically so personal, so divine that no one else can understand your relationship with God.
Absolutely.
And I think with the community of like the church, you can come together and I don't know, come together. What's that scripture in groups of like 2 or 3?
If there's like more than two,
Yeah.
more than
Will I be present or whatever?
something.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. Yeah,
I'm a
That one.
scriptorian.
that one.
But
You
I
can
think
Google that.
that's what's so important about
Yeah.
the community is when you come together, you're not just coming together as mortals, you're also coming together as mortals
Brothers and
with
sisters
and
and
with an immortal there. Christ will be there leading and guiding you and
Absolutely.
directing the conversation. yeah, anyways, I'll just leave it with that. And if I remember what I was going to say earlier, I'll bring it back up.
It's hard.
It's hard because, yeah, he brings up a really good point, and I'm like, oh, I got to remember that. And then I'm trying to focus on what you're saying, and it's just slowly degrades. And then I get back, and I'm like, I wanted to say something. But it's gone. Long gone.
Awkward silence.
Well, I feel the Spirit has led this conversation for 30 minutes and 22 seconds.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Ghosts aren't real. Souls are.
Okay.
Yeah.
I actually
that conclusion.
I like the definition. Of a soul being a spirit and a body combined. So, like when a hurricane hits and 100 souls die, 100 souls are lost.
So a soul is a body and a spirit.
Yeah,
a soul isn't a spirit.
No, but it contains a spirit. Yeah, so a soul is a body and a spirit put together. So, like if we lost a soul the other day, that means a body and a spirit were separated. It was no longer a soul.
Okay, so the soul is the collective.
Yeah. Okay. That's just what I personally believe a soul is, different from a spirit and a body.
I usually use soul and spirit interchangeably.
Yeah, which is fine. Like I think that's totally acceptable, and I'll understand what you're saying, and I probably will as well use it interchangeably. But I just thought for me that puts it a little bit more into perspective of like, the spirit, becomes a person. But anyways,
at the end of the day, whether or not ghosts are real comes down to your definition of a ghost.
Yeah,
and that's your own personal experiences. You don't have to listen to us.
Nope. Yeah, don't listen to a word we say.
We're gonna have an entire playlist on this faith thing at some point. So if you guys like these topics, tune in. But most of you won't. So
I think that's smart because we have three similar but very different point of views. Yeah, I think it's really cool when we come together.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I guess we figured out how we're gonna close these out now.
Yeah.
You opened it. You closed
it. So you want me to say something that I learned from this? Is that what
you're yeah, we forgot to do that in our last one.
Yeah.
How was it that we wanted to close it again at the very end?
This is
Squire.
This is Squire.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But are we gonna do something that we learned?
I like that. Yeah, especially for this one. I feel like this was a very learning, different opinions pushed out.
Maybe not something. I just grew an appreciation for our friendship, and I think I made a realization that we each have a increasingly rare ability to think deeper and dig a little deeper than what most people would.
Mm-hmm. Even in a subject where it's completely... This wasn't even a religious topic.
Exactly.
We were just doing, are ghosts real? And then we jumped into complete faith.
Define ghosts. like we really dig deep, and I think that's refreshing because not a lot of friend groups can do that.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Yeah.
I learned personally that my own faith is a lot more deeply rooted than I thought it was.
No, that's good. That's good.
So there you have it. I'm a Christian. I'm an old Christian boy.
Cool.
I guess from this one...
Hit me.
Hit you?
Hit me.
Don't throw me that off.
You wouldn't do it. God told you you can't.
No, there are times for anger.
Wrath.
I learned that there are differences in ghosts and spirits and souls. I had never looked at it in that way.
Yep.
I think that's pretty interesting. And to kind of reiterate what you said, I think it's neat when we can come together and with different opinions, and I like seeing where lines cross.
Yeah.
When we all have, like you said, completely parallel lines, but every now and again we all take turns and end up crossing a path somewhere.
Yeah. But wouldn't it be horribly boring if we all had the exact same point of view?
Yes.
And I'm not going to jump into politics quite yet, but I
know where you're going.
I feel like just the general consensus is we're starting to push people into, if you don't think this way, you're a horrible person. And everyone has to think this way, or else you're a horrible person.
I'll worry the day that this country does think the exact same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, for example, like...
It's scary.
Like Germany with Hitler and the Nazis. Like...
Jeez.
It just took a turn.
Sorry. No, here we go.
I'll hear you.
There was a percentage that were, the... what was the name for them?
minority.
No, they were the resistance. There was a small percentage that was the resistance. However, that was a large company that all got pushed in the same exact mindset.
Yeah.
And that's scary.
It is, yeah.
When you don't have anyone because there's no checks and balances anymore.
There's no liberty.
No.
At all. Yeah. Yeah. So, I think it's just, I love finding out the differents between us.
I love talking.
I love talking.
Yeah.
Don't you love hearing my voice? Isn't it so soothing?
See, we went from our ghost reel to spiritual stuff to that.
ASMR.
ASMR, yeah.
I'm just give a little.
Oh, you didn't?
Yeah.
Oh,
everyone heard
gosh.
that.
Oh my gosh.
Alrighty. Well, good talk.
It was good talk.
This is Squire.
Thanks, guys.